That's the distinct sound that you are officially tuned in to Jamaica Magazine, a daily staple of valuable information to guide your decision making. So today we tell you how to access support from the Ministry of Justice to keep troubled children from going down the wrong path. There's also a call to embrace civic pride and keeping our island clean, plus taking action to prevent mosquito-borne diseases. I'm Theodore Henry, and the package unfolds now.
The following is brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
To fight crime and violence in your country, your government has invested over $9.7 billion into national security systems. This includes the construction and renovation of dozens of police stations, the acquisition of critical security equipment such as patrol vessels and police vehicles, the recruitment and training of more police officers, and the build-out of the Jamaica Defense Force. Your government is investing in your safety. We are building Jamaica.
The proceeding was brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, June 15, 2023. The commencement date for the Sexual Harassment Act is set for July 3, 2023. Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport, Olivia Grange, made the announcement on Tuesday during her sectoral presentation in Parliament. The legislation addresses concerns about sexual harassment that are employment-related, occurring in institutions or arising in the landlord and tenant relationship.
I use this opportunity to remind every employer and person in charge of an institution and landlords of their responsibility, and certainly the institutions and the companies, their responsibility to ensure that the policy statement required under the Sexual Harassment Act is prepared and brought to the attention of each worker, client, student, resident, ward, inmate, patient, or member, as the case may require.
Minister Grange says 4 sexual harassment investigators have been hired and a helpline is also now in place for both women and men.
I continue to urge the public to take sexual harassment seriously. It is not a simple matter, but rather serious crime that affects quality of life by creating an intimidating, hostile, or offensive environment.
The Bureau of Gender Affairs has been holding sexual harassment sensitization sessions with the public while also assisting organizations to develop or revise their anti-sexual harassment policies in keeping with the law. An increase in the number of attacks on homeless people in Port Antonio, Portland, has advanced the government's efforts to find a location to construct a shelter in the parish. Local Government Minister Desmond McKenzie says he will be traveling to the parish on the weekend to look at the facility.
The government will not allow the homeless population to be abused. We will do everything that is within our powers to ensure that we find suitable and ideal accommodation for these persons right across the country.
Minister McKenzie was speaking at this week's post-cabinet media briefing at Jamaica House. He also raised concerns about the possible closure of a hospice for persons afflicted with HIV/AIDS. Mr. McKenzie says discussions have started with the St. Patrick Foundation to see how the government can assist. According to him, the cost to run the hospice is an issue for the operators, and the government will be looking into the legal ramifications of taking over the facility.
I just want to give the country the assurance that the government of Prime Minister Andrew Holness will do what is necessary to ensure that these facilities continue to offer the services that are required. The government runs some 13 infirmaries plus 2 golden age homes, and we do provide financial assistance, annual financial assistance to private homes or institutions right across the country, and we will continue to do so.
Students in Manchester are being trained as peace ambassadors with the goal of instilling civic pride and fostering a culture of peace in their schools. This is being done through the Manchester Beliefs, Values and Attitudes program. It targets students at the primary and secondary levels, beginning with the Christiana High and Christiana Moravian primary and infant schools in the pilot phase. Minister of Education and Youth Fable Williams considers the program as an important step towards encouraging peace in schools.
The pilot program that's being launched today is designed to train and equip you with the skills and knowledge that you need to become effective school ambassadors and junior JPs. We believe that by investing in you, we are investing in the future.
The minister was speaking at the recent program launch held at the Zorn Moravian Church in Christiana. Students will be educated on the roles, functions, and duties of good citizens, as well as the functions of the parish custos and justices of the peace. They will also be instructed in restorative justice procedures for children.
You are not too young to know about the duties of the custos. You're not too young to know about the role of a justice of the peace.
The Ministry of Labour and Social Security says there is no fraud probe being conducted by its internal auditors into the National Insurance Scheme, NIS. The clarification comes in response to media reports about a pension fraud probe.
The ministry is stating categorically that there is no fraud probe being conducted into the NIS at this time. We have not received any reports relating to the Postmaster General paying out more money than was disbursed to them by the NIS.
However, given the serious nature of the reports in the media, the ministry's Chief Technical Director for Social Security, Audrey Dare Williams, says it is inviting external independent authorities to examine the allegations to ensure full transparency and accountability.
We are assuring the public that the ministry takes the management of public resources seriously and that we continue to implement strategies to ensure the efficient and effective performance of our systems.
Telecommunications Minister Darrell Vaz is calling on stakeholders in digital and sales marketing to incorporate data protection strategies in their use of artificial intelligence. Minister Vaz made the call during his keynote address at the SalesCon 360 conference and Tech Expo held at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel on Wednesday.
We must foster a culture of data ethics. Organizations must instill ethical principles within their AI systems and processes. It starts with developing transparent algorithms where their decision-making processes can be audited and free from bias and discrimination.
Minister Vaz also shared guidelines from his recent participation at the Public Policy for the Americas International Forum on the Equitable Use of Artificial Intelligence.
These guidelines included a set of key requirements that AI systems and the associated data sources should meet. These include human agency and oversight, technical robustness and safety, transparency, diversity, non-discrimination and fairness, international engagement, ethics and safety, accountability, and privacy and data governance.
Minister Vaz says Jamaica will continue to foster the use of innovation and technology while remaining adamant on the protection of citizens' rights and privacy. And finally, Prime Minister Andrew Holness is expressing gratitude to the Inter-American Development Bank, IDB, and the World Bank for their support of Jamaica's national development. Mr. Holness met with leaders of both organizations at Jamaica House on Wednesday to mark the historic first visit of a World Bank president to the island.
So you would have gone about looking at various projects and seeing what the funding of your various institutions are doing and what the people are saying, how they are benefiting, how they are receiving. And I'm certain that you would see that Jamaica is a good steward of the resources that have been made available, both in terms of loans, in terms of grant, and certainly in terms of the technical advice that you have given.
Prime Minister Holness assured both leaders that Jamaica was a good partner in the international financial multilateral system. The heads of the two international financial institutions expressed agreement with the Prime Minister's statement.
Not only are you a good steward of the efforts of these banks, I think you're an amazing partner as a country.
It is important to partner because what we do care is about the countries we serve.
The new World Bank president, Ajay Banga, who took up the post on June 2, is on a tour of several countries. His visit is geared towards tackling the climate crisis and reinvigorating the Global Lenders Development Mission. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Let's hear from the Ministry of Justice about how it is supporting families to keep troubled children from going down the wrong path. The work is happening through the Child Diversion Program.
Scenario 1. A child is caught desecrating a building. To him or her, it is fun. After all, they are not hurting anyone. Scenario 2. Teenage boy meets girl. They fall in love. They decide to do the do. These scenarios seem somewhat innocent until... In scenario 1, that child is charged with vandalism because the building is the property of someone and it will cost them a lot of money to undo the damage done by said child. In scenario 2, the boy is arrested. As it happens, he is 17 years old and the girl, well, she is 15 years old. What they may not understand is that although they are both teenagers, it is unlawful to have sexual intercourse with a person under the age of 16. So now these young people will be jailed. But do they have to be?
Child diversion in the Ministry of Justice is just our way of diverting children who are considered to be troubled, wayward, or children who just come into contact with the justice system, because not every child that comes into contact with the system is a troubled child. So we offer them rehabilitation and an opportunity to get a second chance.
So how do we get to this stage? Consider the scenarios earlier. Those children are now in the custody of the court. In a traditional judicial system, when found guilty, these persons would find themselves behind bars. However, the Ministry of Justice has reconsidered the fate of such individuals and is offering a better solution. But first, the individuals must accept responsibility. Then, they and their victims, along with the court, must agree to the terms of treatment, that is, child diversion. So, if your child is between the ages of 12 and 17, they are eligible. The program, which began in 2020, is guided by the Child Diversion Act, which was passed in 2018, and is supported by other acts such as the Child Care and Protection Act, which speaks to the best interests of children. Some offenses under Schedule 1 of the Child Diversion Act are simple larceny, malicious destruction of property, and having sexual intercourse with a person under 16. However, judges have autonomy to send cases or offenses to the Child Diversion Program at their discretion. Yes, there is hope for our young people who find themselves on the wrong side of the law. But what does that second chance look like?
It will look different for every child. So what happens once they're referred to us, we have offices across the island, so we have 14 offices. They're sent to one of our offices in the parishes, and the child diversion officer in the parish will do an intake assessment, and we ask the child a lot of questions. We also ask the parents questions to get an understanding of what this child is all about and what home life is like, what school is like, and so on. Once we're able to do that, we then craft what we call a treatment program for that child, an individualized program for the child.
After a treatment plan is drafted, it will need the approval of the Child Diversion Committee. Once approval is given, treatment will commence.
A child might be referred to the program for simple larceny, but when they come to us, we realize that they're using drugs, their educational level is not where it should be. The intervention that is provided will be geared towards not only the simple larceny, but also the other interventions that that child might need. So we might have to refer them to, let's say, the National Council on Drug Abuse, so they might be able to get drug abuse treatment and counseling.
And what about that boy in scenario 2? What hope is there for him?
These children come to us. They might be A students in school. They might be actively participating in sports, other activities, but for whatever reason, they decided to try and they were caught having sexual intercourse. They referred to us. For a child like that comes to the child diversion program, the aim of the program is not to punish them, but is to ensure that they get the adequate information about the actions that they're taking, how it can affect them, how it can affect others. So it's not a case where, because they're caught committing this offense, that their life should be over. So child diversion basically provides them an opportunity to, when you were in basic school and you had that eraser, or primary school, to just erase that mistake and rewrite it in a more positive way. I just want parents or guardians to know that child diversion, the program itself, is here to help our young people develop, and it's here to help them develop in a positive way. So don't consider it punishment, or even if it is, it's not one that is so final that this child cannot go into adulthood without leaving that simple mistake that they made as a child behind.
Do not use your cell phone while driving, please. That call or text can wait. Do you really have to stream that video while driving? It's not worth your life, nor that of other road users. Stay alert, stay off your phone, and arrive alive.
Improper disposal of solid waste is not only damaging to the environment, but can also cause severe flooding and blocking of drains in times such as now, the hurricane season. Let us embrace civic pride and keep our environment clean.
The Palisades Strip is where a lot of the garbage that is discarded in the gullies, the streets, the drains of Kingston ends up. So there's a heavy rainfall and it floats across the harbour and it winds up on the Palisades Strip. So every year, this strip is where we're getting tons and tons of garbage. So, it's really an important site for raising awareness of what's happening in the streets of Kingston.
My incentive really is to get to a point where our behaviors are changed at the source so that plastics don't end up on the beach in the first place. So really I want to see those volumes go down because our practices have become healthier and cleaner as a people, so that throughout the year, it's not just one day we come in and clean up the beach, but throughout the year our beaches are kept clean. And if we sell in our brochures Paradise, which is basically powder white sand beaches, sunshine year round, turquoise blue waters, crystal clear as well, cascading waterfalls, those are all the things that we sell. And in any kind of service industry, you're supposed to exceed your customers' expectations. That means when your customers come and experience it, the last thing you want to do is have them see garbage on those natural blessings that we receive.
Every year, we have groups coming to us, wow, you will never guess what I found. Like they find a mannequin. Somebody told me they found an iron, and it's all like a huge surprise to some people. And, it's often the first time people are really seeing face to face where this garbage is going and what kind of garbage is in the environment. You name it. If it doesn't break down in the environment naturally, we're going to find it on International Coastal Cleanup Day.
I think it's very positive from a branding standpoint. The fact that we are so socially responsible, so environmentally responsible as a nation, I believe that's very positive for our brand for tourism.
From my perspective, I think it's actually a good thing, because when you're passing the garrisons and the gullies, you see a lot of plastics in the gutter and styrofoam. So I think it's a good move.
This comes like something that I would always want. Yes, I don't believe in plastic. I believe in preserving the ozone layer. We have to reduce carbon footprint and keep Jamaica green.
We buy our bags, or more than one use bags from the supermarket. Some of them weak, but we still, use them because they're biodegradable. You understand? So I support it 100%. Just not dirty up Jamaica. We need to set a different mindset, We need to have a different mindset as it relates to Jamaica and cleaning Jamaica. If you go to other countries, developing and developed countries, they manage their trash fairly well, especially like the coastlines and the beaches and so on, because they're disciplined, right? And Jamaica need to break that mentality of they're not being watched, so just throw the garbage somewhere, somebody's gonna clean it up.
Managing quite well. However, when you're hungry and you need to get something in the supermarket, well, you have to carry it in your hand.
Well, it was hard at first. We always knew we wanted to reduce our intake of plastics, but actually having to do it, I'm not going to lie, it has been a challenge, but it's a worthwhile one. So I only use paper straws. I have my recyclable bottles, so I buy water by the 5-gallon and I go and refill it. So I try to reduce plastic as much as possible.
It was rough at first, but I've been getting accustomed to it, using the paper bags. Going to the supermarket or ordering from a restaurant. But yeah, I'm glad the ban, it seems to be going quite well in a sense. People getting accustomed to seeing more paper bags being used and the place is being cleaned more.
The millennials more so than the non-millennials, so yeah. I think the millennials are more conscious of what is going on around us with the not only the oceans but the climate as well. So I think we've grown up always hearing, oh, that polar ice caps are melting and so forth and so forth. So we know of the dangers of our environments and what's happening.
On campus, we have recycling bins and so forth. So we do try to recycle, but it's not the norm. It's something that it's still taboo, so only a few people really do recycle. So you have recycling bins here and then general disposal, and you still have persons throwing plastic bottles in there. So it's something that we're still not practicing as yet, and it's important that we do.
We need to translate it from beach cleanup to not dirtying up Jamaica. It's not just about cleaning up the beach, it's about managing our garbage all year round in a better way. Next year, we're hoping that we'll see an even further reduction in the amount of garbage that we're picking up, because we're having the deposit refund scheme for plastic bottles coming, and the styrofoam as well will also, be out of the picture. So we're really looking forward to a day when ICC is not necessary anymore. We're not there yet, but as we take these steps as a nation, to raise awareness, to improve legislation and regulations as it relates to solid waste, we're hoping that that really does make a change.
It's the rainy season, and this provides the perfect opportunity for the breeding of mosquitoes, like the Aedes aegypti. Yes, we're in the peak season for mosquito-borne diseases. We want you to be safe, so here's how you can protect yourself and keep your environment free of breeding sites.
Dengue fever is a vector-borne disease carried by the Aedes aegypti mosquito. It is caused by the flavivirus and occurs in either a mild or severe form in tropical and subtropical areas of the world. Globally, 50 to 100 million cases of dengue are seen yearly.
Dengue is endemic to Jamaica, meaning that since its introduction in 1977, we have cases that occur every year. The cases of dengue fever, including severe dengue, can occur at any time throughout the year. An outbreak is declared when the number of cases increase above the usual that is expected for that time of the year.
Dengue is transmitted to humans by the bite of the infected female mosquito. Symptoms typically begin 3 to 14 days after someone gets infected with the virus. Symptoms can last from 2 to 7 days.
The incubation period is usually 4 to 10 days, and illness begins abruptly, and there are essentially 3 phases of the illness. First phase is where you have the fever. The second phase that you can go into is a critical phase, and then you have a recovery phase.
Over 70% of persons who contract the disease usually experience mild symptoms. Persons affected by the mild form of the disease may experience fever of 40 degrees Celsius or higher, headache, muscle pain, and bone and joint pain. Some people may also experience nausea, pain behind the eyes, swollen glands, vomiting, sore throat, rash, and diarrhea. To be on the safe side and put speculations aside, persons who start experiencing symptoms are advised to visit their health facility or doctor for medical advice and treatment. In order to effectively combat and limit the spread of dengue and other mosquito-transmitted illnesses, persons must eliminate mosquito breeding sites in their surroundings. Breeding sites include old tires, laundry tanks, dish drainers, covered tanks or cisterns, drums and barrels, discarded buckets and containers. Other sources are pet dishes, construction blocks, bottles, discarded tin cans, tree holes and bamboo, bottle pieces on top of walls, old shoes, and flower pots. Mosquitoes can also breed in discarded toys, roof guttering, bromeliad plants, garden containers and tools, brick holes, and unmaintained wading or swimming pools. Where water is stored for use, the containers must be properly covered and sealed against mosquito entry. The use of mosquito repellents containing DEET and long-sleeved clothing are also recommended for personal protection. For more information, please contact the Ministry of Health, 10 to 16 Grenada Way, Kingston 5. Call them at 876-633-8172, 876-633-7771. Information is on the web at moh.gov.jm and contact can be made by email pr@moh.gov.jm or on social media.
We've come to the end of our show for today. Join us again tomorrow when we bring you another informative program. In the meantime, stay connected via our website, jis.gov.jm. And while you're online, send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm or via tweet at JIS News. You may also find us on all the major social media platforms and through our mobile app that's both Android and iOS compatible. On behalf of the production crew, I'm Theodore Henry. Take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.